Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a stream of sorts. So tonight, we have Ian Danskin of Innuendo Studios. You might be wondering who that is, but I've actually heard of him before. I've watched a couple of his videos. I can't say for leisure. I think I watched him in drama videos, honestly. Sorry if anybody was against that. All right. Our live streaming is good. Wait, I didn't mean to. Okay. So Ian Danskin, or otherwise known as Innuendo Studios. So Ian Danskin is a guy who made videos at one point. You might be surprised. So he's known for this series called the Alt-Right Playbook. The series of animated videos. The series of animated videos where he calls out specific criticisms that the right wing may have for him or for left wing people in general. And in these videos, he explains through animated artwork how these criticisms are wrong completely on the basis. And we're not going to watch any of these videos because they may be right, they may be wrong. I'm not actually here for politics, despite what you may think. So, we have a journey to partake in of many, and by many I mean 3 in particular, leftist, well maybe 4 actually, or 5 or 6. 4 for certain. Channels that have gone down the rabbit hole of begging for money instead of making videos. So I do want to front load this. I do want to poison the well. Ian Danskin makes relatively popular videos. Ian Danskin has a 400,000 view video from 4 months ago, a 500,000 video from 4 months ago, a 500,000 view from 8 months ago, a 300,000 view from a year ago. A year? Yes, that's right. You read that correctly. A year ago. And many more videos from last year called the Alt-Right Playbook. So, some of these make sense, obviously. I think, why don't you respond to criticism? That could be something alt-right critique. Ignore those. That was a weird phase. The alt-right playbook. I hate Mondays. The alt-right playbook. How to radicalize a normie. Ooh, maybe he has something good to say. But we're not here for that. I'm sorry. You can watch his channel if you're very interested. Today, we have to go over his recent economic financing via crowdfunding. And in the background, we're going to be playing as the UK. Or, well, actually, you know what? In the theming of Ian Danskin being American, we'll play America. Nah, I want to play the UK. Sorry. So let's get into his video. Hey. So this is known as being a YouTuber bankrupted me. Now, we're taking this a little bit backwards. And I guess before I start playing properly, I wanted to read his most recent post. Oh. Oh, no. Wait, did he delete it or is it on Patreon? I think it's on Patreon. Wait. Oh, shit. Okay. So let's go to his Patreon instead. You have to donate $1 to... Oh, you can join for free? Let me join for free. Skip for now. Oh, okay. Can I get like a direct timeline of him? Oh, okay. I can't get it without paying $1 a month anyway. All right, cool. Let's just watch this video. But there's very much more to this that I have some backup videos who do have more information on that go into detail.
Hey everyone, Ian from Innuendo Studios here. Here to let you know that for the time being, Innuendo Studios is taking a break.
No.
I'm not sure for how long, and there's a chance it might be permanent.
No way.
Well, you've seen the title of the video, so that is not hyperbole. It's not strictly speaking true. Like bankruptcy is only one of several options.
He's going bankrupt? Oh my god.
But it is a very real and likely possibility.
No way.
Yeah, I've been saying that doing this job is making ends meet for a while, and it has in the sense.
Has it? Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That sucks so much.
That most months I end with my bank account at least nominally in the positive. Not all, but most. But if making ends meet is supposed to entail things like being able to settle up your credit card debt or settle up personal loans you take from friends and loved ones, or being able to pay the 30% in taxes that freelancers own every April.
Oh, dude. Freelancers owe 33% in taxes. That sucks. I owe 40. I owe like 35, I think. Actually, you know what? Wait, I can do the math. I pulled up my, I hope this doesn't come up on stream. I pulled up my pay statement the other day. We get a calculator. So I make, let's see, Does it give me a total? So that plus that equals that. Then that divided by that. Wait, sorry. I did the math wrong. But I get 25. Damn, freelancers? Actually, that is kind of bad. Freelancers do get a little more tax than normal. That sucks.
A full account, I have been running this channel at a loss for 7 years. And between back taxes I owe the government, a maxed out credit card that is in collections, and money I owe to a few people who've bailed me out.
You owe back taxes? You owe a credit card? Wait, but we looked at his channel. He's making millions of views, if not hundreds of thousands. No way.
Total accumulated debt that is pushing $100,000.
Holy shit, dude.
And I'm not going to say I'm perfect at managing money. There wasn't a life I could have been living these past 7 years where I would have earned $100,000 more than I did.
Wait. So how much did you earn? That's a good question. I didn't think of that before. How much did you earn? If you couldn't have made $100,000 more before, what were you? Were you like... Were you making a shitload of money from this? Because to me, it seems like you couldn't have been. Were you a banker? Were you an investor? $100,000 more than you were? Oh, no.
So, backers on Patreon already know about this. When I told them, it was framed as, you know, I'm going to probably do some kind of fundraiser or do a Patreon relaunch. There's a bunch of stuff I've been doing over on Patreon that I still hadn't even like announced here on YouTube yet.
Okay.
But
I don't have access to your Patreon.
I just can't take it anymore.
Oh my
God. It's just a lot of strain to put on me and to put on my family.
You have a
And I've
family?
felt for a long time that like I'm on the verge of, kind of
Let's turn
like
this down a
making
bit.
it.
He's very loud.
Like I've been dancing around the periphery for a while. Back in 2020, right before COVID happened, like the numbers were really doing good. The Patreon was really solid. I was making
That's
more money
awesome.
than I'd ever made, and it really seemed like it was going to keep heading that way. And then
And then it
they just
didn't.
started to dip, and it's never really recovered.
Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm
Once I
sorry.
hurt my back, and I couldn't
Wait, you
work
hurt
for a
your
while.
back? You're an animator and a voice actor, so you hurt your back, and that prevented you? Wait.
Um, and life just got more expensive.
I mean, that's true.
It's
Everybody
really
for
seemed
sure has been
especially with
feeling
joining
that.
Nebula
Life
and
getting more
everything,
expensive.
It keeps feeling like if I could just hang on a little longer, I get it cracked, and I'd become one of those like fully self-sustained people, and maybe I would, maybe if I could hold on a little longer, I would.
Oh,
But
man. I feel
I
so
can't.
fucking bad. He can't hold on
I
anymore,
can't keep
guys.
struggling.
He
in the
can't
meantime.
keep struggling.
So for now, we're gonna call this a sabbatical. I'm
Sabbatical.
not officially quitting. It's possible I will
He's
find
not quitting.
part-time work, which means
He'll find
that,
part-time work? He'll
if
find... Wait. I missed this in like the 3 other watches I did of this. He'll find part-time work outside of this?
if it's enough hours that it brings in decent money that I could supplement Patreon and AdSense with, I could keep doing this part-time, which is, when I started out, that's
Okay,
what it
that
was.
sounds
It was a
good.
thing I was juggling with freelancing and school. So maybe that's an option. I have to see what's out there. But at least for the next month or
Okay.
so, kind of my mindset is to live my life with the question, what if I wasn't a YouTuber? Like, how would I spend my time?
Oh, sounds
Where
like
would
an adventure. Sounds like you want to take this time
I
off.
put my energies?
Okay.
What
I mean,
would I work on?
it's sad that you're put in a
If
situation where
didn't
you have
always
to, but that doesn't sound
gnawing
like the
feeling
worst
of,
thing
like,
ever.
I should be working on my video. What would my home look like? What would my social life look like?
I don't
How
know.
would my free time look? Free time? The concept.
Free time is... Wait. Oh, no. He's like... He can't even imagine what free time is like, guys. Oh my god, it's already been 5 minutes, dude. Time is flowing faster for me. He can't even imagine what free time is like. That's how stressed out he is. Oh my god, dude. That sucks so bad. I know exactly what that feels like, You have a job, and then you come home, and then you either have like another job or you have to deal with people who feel like a job. Oh my god, that feels so bad. I know exactly what you mean.
We're just gonna see what that's like. So maybe part-time work, maybe the channel sticks around in some capacity. Maybe I'll do something that leaves me energy on the weekends.
That sucks so much, dude. I'm
Maybe
so
I'll
sorry to hear that.
collaborate with people. But right now, I'm not promising anything. I've been doing this for 11 years, and it's weird to
11
say
years.
that
That
it is the most
sucks.
financially stable I've ever been, because when I started this job, I was only a year or 2 off of food stamps.
Whoa, you were on food stamps, dude? That does suck. That actually does suck. Being unironic for a moment, being on food stamps does suck ass in America. It does. It's not like a thing to be proud of, You have to accept government funding, and then you have to like... Oh, man. It can be embarrassing at the grocery store or whatever. I think you should get over it, but I can understand people who had never been on it before having like a jolt to their system.
But it's just never made the kind of income that lets you trust that you're going to be able to cover your expenses 3-4
Yeah, that's
months from now.
understandable.
I have no savings. There's nothing for
He has no savings?
retirement.
He has no retirement? Wait, what? Having no savings and no retirement is that's a red flag.
I owe more than I make in a year. Outside.
You have negative GDP? You owe more than you make in a year? That's so sad, dude. That is so fucking sad. Oh my god. You know, it must be tough also uploading only 3 videos in a year. Wow, that's really working your ass off. Oh man.
Of a few big names, probably almost all of your favorite YouTubers are doing worse than you think. So for the time being, I'm gonna...
All right, mask off moment. All of your YouTubers are probably doing far better than you think. Not all of them, absolutely, especially streamers. Streamers are probably doing almost exactly how you think they are. But like YouTubers, no, they're honestly, so many of them are doing so much better than you think they are. Dude, I can't remember how many fucking times a YouTuber has like begged for money and actually had like tens of thousands of dollars saved up. They're like, oh no, guys, I need money. I can't make rent this month. And then they actually have like a massive fucking savings account. Look, I wanted to do this longer. I wanted the show to go on longer, but like YouTubers have been one of the most frustrating things whenever it comes to like donations and managing money. Simply because of the fact that like so many of them have so much more money than they're actually letting on. And it's asinine how much money they actually have got. And then they'll like beg for money because like honestly some of them do kind of just get into the habit of it. That's like the most generous take I have, where a lot of them like YouTube kind of, if you want to be successful, does demand in a lot of ways that you do beg for money, that you beg for subscribers and ringing the bell and like everything like that, and like begging on Patreon for money. But like so many of the YouTubers you know are getting like money on Patreon. They're getting money on usually some secondary service like Nebula or whatever. Like Linus Tech Tips is getting money on Nebula. You never need to donate money to Linus Tech Tip. And then you're also having to like, they ask for like, please buy clothes from my shop, buy my shirt, buy my jacket. And they're like begging for donations on live stream. Like, I'll do whatever you want. I'll eat a hot chili pepper. Whenever like they actually have like 10, 20, $30,000 in their bank account, which is far more than most of the people then they're asking for donations from. So you get this situation where you have essentially rich people asking for money from poor people just because of like they want to be richer, the rich get richer situation. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people seem to think that it's fine that they donate money whenever they're in debt, they're having problems. But then you get a guy like Ian Danskin who is begging for money whenever he's got an insanely successful YouTube channel. And sure, he has to donate 33% of taxes, but that's his fault. That's him not properly saving money and instead spending it on random bullshit. We'll get into it later. There's a lot more to his story.
I'm going to leave the Patreon turned on at least for like a few months. There's a bunch of stuff I do on Patreon that like I haven't even announced it here on YouTube. I've been doing it for like a year and change now. I do these little projects where like I have a film randomizer list. It's like a list of, this year's list is like 36 movies where I hit shuffle on Letterboxd and watch whichever one comes up first and try to get through the whole list by the end of the year.
That sounds like ass. That's your Patreon reward? Your Patreon reward for people is having a movie randomizer. That's your Patreon reward for people who donate to you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
And I write little reviews for them. Or I have like a video game cabinet, just games I'm trying to get through before the
Your Patreon reward is playing games?
end of the year. I do a reading log. And
Your Patreon reward is reading books? Dude, his Patreon reward for you paying him money on Patreon, his reward to you is fucking consuming media. That's his reward. Imagine paying fucking $50 to this guy and your reward is him buying fucking like Armored Core 6, is him buying Elden Ring. That's your reward. That's your fucking goal of donating to him. It's not to get out of debt. It's so he can buy another fucking month of Netflix. This guy is evil. This guy is unironically evil. I'm gonna get another grog. Yeah, I am drunk. I am drinking right fucking now. No LA protest coverage? Wait, is there a protest in LA right now? I don't keep up with the news. The only thing that I've heard about the LA riots, I have heard a little bit from like passing coverage. It's bad? Okay, I'll look into it. Let me pick a focus in Hoi 4 before covering like insane news right now. LA riots. LA immigration riots. Community group says raid was random sweep. I don't want to listen to Fox. Who's more balanced? This seems like something. Is there, what is it? The NBC? They seem fair. There's live coverage. This looks like live coverage of the events. There's somebody with like a report to summarize it. These are all the exact same. So the only thing that I've heard so far is that Trump sent like 2,000 National Guard to LA. Oh, did you know what would have been perfect for this? Is if I played that one fucking like modern day mod that was really edgy. The one where Trump and Biden start a civil war. New York Post. I think this stuff gets copyright clipped, so I'm gonna make it tiny.
They're coming out. They're coming out.
They're coming out. Let me look up like an article. Jesus, no way. LA riots. Okay, so here's NYT. Get Ian Danskin back on the screen so New York Times doesn't copyright me. Control A, copy in case it like fucks me. In contrast with the isolated skirmishes seen in the LA County over the past few days, there were this is like a covering of the history of LA riots. CNN. Trump ordered the deployment of 2,000 National Guard to quell immigration protests in LA, overriding California Governor Gavin Newsom's objections in a rare move. This invocation of presidential powers that have remained dormant for decades signifies an escalation that challenges both state authority and long-established standards, some experts and political leaders say. Law enforcement used tear gas and flashbang grenades in an effort to disperse protesters over the weekend, but Trump said local officials had failed to deal with the unrest, and the federal government would solve the problems. Riots and looters, the way it should be solved, he wrote in a Truth Platform social. Law enforcement used tear gas and flash. Oh, I just read that. Trump signed a presidential memorandum deploying the National Guard to LA under Title 10 of the United States Code to temporarily protect ICE and other United States government personnel who are performing federal functions, as well as federal property, he announced in a memo to the Attorney General. Title 10 allows the president to deploy National Guard as necessary to repel invasion, suppress rebellion, or execute laws, which means the National Guard reports to the president rather than the governor. There's a lot more going on. Jesus. So Senator Ted Cruz shared a clip where a car was set on fire. Wait, so are these protests against immigration? So this is a right-wing protest. What the fuck? That's rare. The sun will soon set as a third day of protests against immigration. Oh, against immigration raids. I misread. In California, catch up here. Hassan went down to the protests. Honestly, good for him. He doesn't go to protests enough. So that's good. About 300 members of the California National Guard have been operating in LA because of the demonstrations, according to Gavin Newsom, who formally requested that the Trump administration rescind its unlawful deployment and allow local authorities to maintain order. Oh, so there are California National Guard protesting against Trump? Or I wonder if they're in uniform. 500 active duty Marines are on a prepared to deploy status and would be sent from the combat center in 29 Palms, Cali, as unrest persists in the city. U.S. Northern Command said Sunday evening. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had warned Saturday that the active duty Marines were preparing. There's no way that's going to happen. Following the unlawful assemblies, protesters were arrested in droves over forceful intervention with police throughout LA. The demonstrators collected support from politicians, including Governor Harris. Yeah. Hundreds of protesters made their way onto the 101 freeway in downtown LA Sunday afternoon after the initial protest site nearby was determined an unlawful assembly by police. The group caused a full closure of the 101 freeway for approximately 90 minutes, and thousands of protesters shut down several neighboring streets. Traffic in the city grid continues recovering from the disturbances. Now, the military is there to quell the protests? Yeah. No. CNN is reporting that there's 300 National Guard who are essentially on the protesters' side. Or this is like really poorly written. It might be extremely poorly written. All right, let me reread it, okay? About 300 members of the California National Guard have been operating in LA because of the demonstrations, according to Gavin Newsom, who formally requested... Oh, wait, that's... Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. See, this is why I tell people to let me reread things. Because I know I'm dumb. No, it's left wing, far left wing, yeah. I totally misread this. I am like about 7 drinks into tonight, okay? My reading comprehension is probably at an all-time low. We have a bunch of Teslas set on fire. California filing a lawsuit over National Guard deployment. The thing with LA is that it's such a large city. Isn't LA bigger than London? Is LA bigger than London? The LA metropolitan is significantly larger than London in terms of land area and population. So I actually completely understand deploying National Guard because LA should essentially be its own state. LA is bigger than like a lot of New England states. I got an edible that's about to be kicking in. Nice. I mean, not nice. I don't encourage weed. I got grog from Cold Ones, Max Mofo and Chad. Anything for views. I got their grog. It's fucking delicious. I love it. And this is my last one because I'm out after this. Wait, what? Dude, okay, wait. No, this is correct. Okay, never mind. Yeah, LA is bigger than London. All right. Dude, that's crazy. I'm more concerned with people's like livelihood and safety, but if National Guard is getting deployed, that is also very serious. I hope nothing bad happens. That would be horrible. I would have covered it if there was more going on. Because like it doesn't like it looks bad from the outside, but so far nobody's died as at least as far as the like CNN is concerned. Nobody has perished. Nobody's been super violent yet. There's been vandalism, a hell of a lot of vandalism. But no person-on-person violence yet. I'm not sure what I think. Okay, so here it says Kamala Harris denounces ICE raids as part of National Guard deployment as part of Trump's cruel, calculated agenda. Kamala Harris calls the deployment of National Guard to her home state of California a dangerous escalation to the demonstrations and part of Trump's administration's cruel agenda. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous meant to provoke chaos, she wrote on X. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation, it is part of Trump's administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. The 2024 Democratic presidential candidate also backed the overwhelmingly peaceful protesters demonstrating this weekend following federal immigration sweeps. I continue to support the millions of Americans who are standing up to protect our most fundamental rights and freedoms. Protest is power. Okay, whatever. Nothing would have happened if the states had more rights. That's all I'm saying. Look. The correct side won the Civil War. 130 fucking %. But if the states got more rights after the like 60s or 70s, after the 70s, you know, after everybody had full rights, I think this wouldn't be happening. Like if California had its own immigration rights, I think they would be much better off because nobody else wants that many immigrants besides California. California loves them. Good for them. They can have as many as they want. But like I also don't think ICE should be rating like random states. Each state should vote if they want to allow ICE or not. And should be completely by state voluntary. Jesus, I'm playing Void 4. Okay, let's get back to Innuendo Studios, the part that we're actually supposed to be on.
I make a playlist, a 6-song playlist every month that I share with patrons. And I really enjoy doing that, and it doesn't take a ton of time and energy. So like, I'm probably going to keep doing that.
I do actually think that that's probably going to be the next big like American sentiment, American focus is states' rights versus federal rights. If the public becomes self-conscious enough. But the issue is that it's going to be draped in the talking points of the Civil War. Because a lot of Democrats are going to be like, oh, states' rights means slavery. A lot of Republicans are going to be like, oh, states' rights means ultimate freedom, when it ultimately means neither of those things. I'm too drunk to be on a stream right now, I'm going to be honest. But, I do, that's generally what I think is going to happen. Is like the guy after Trump or 2 or 3 guys after Trump, that's going to be like the next big thing, especially if we don't go into any big wars. If we go, for each war that we go into, it's going to devolve a little more. Like right now, the Ukraine conflict and Israel-Palestine conflict has certainly destroyed that concept, but like, or taken focus away more accurately. But like, I think that without like a conflict for Americans to be invested in, if we actually focused insularly, that would probably be the next thing, just because Republicans and Democrats are so divided. I think we should all come together and be one big, happy, peaceful, awesome, powerful fucking country. But like, I think the most likely solution is not that.
And there's a project I do with Willow from the channel Questing Refuge. I also haven't announced this on YouTube yet. It was supposed to be part of this Patreon relaunch that I guess I'm not doing anymore.
Wait, he's not doing a Patreon relaunch anymore? Why not?
But we are doing weekly adventure game reviews. I have a list.
Dude, okay, wait. Okay, so we've got so many things from Innuendo Studios so far that are not making videos. We have he's watching movies, he's playing video games, he's writing specifically about adventure video games. So if he's not playing an adventure video game, he's not reviewing it or making money. He's reading books. Wow, that's crazy. One of those 4 things that you are getting paid to do is not making money.
Of 50 games and like a really...
My opinion is that a YouTuber's ultimate goal is to stop being on Patreon. That's my opinion. I think a YouTuber's ultimate goal should be to make enough money where they no longer have to rely on their audience. They can get it through advertisements exclusively. And if they are able to achieve that, that's awesome. Go get your bag after that. But until you can just make money from like people who are willingly donating to you without like emotional manipulation or sponsorships, if you have to rely on sponsorships to survive, I think you're like just one step above failure, and I definitely respect those people a lot less. If you're relying on Raycon, if you're relying on Raid Shadow Legends, I know dissing to the people who take it just to get the money. They don't have to survive on it. They're just doing it because they want to. That's fine. But the people who have to survive on that, they've ultimately become so unskilled that they have to take sponsorships, and that sucks ass.
Overly complicated rating system. I'm trying to make like a 50 game adventure game tier list. So these little 1-minute reviews that we release every
You're
Monday,
making a 50 game tier list?
Nebula, but also patrons. Like every month I do a supercut of all the ones I did that month, so like patrons get that as well. Willow and I work well together.
Who's Willow?
Writing and graphics are what comes easy.
Who's Willow? Willow Innuendo Studios. Willow Art Studio. Wait, so you don't even make your own art? Is this the person you're talking about? Wait, can we get somebody in the... does he have a credits even? He has a Patreon. Illustrated and edited by Ian Danskin. Written by Abigail Thorne and Ian Danskin. Dude has to work. He does. He refuses to, though. Dude, I swear this gets more insane. You still have tiny corner, bro. So true. No, I mean, I get that, like, YouTube isn't an easy job, right? I understand that people have, like, a harder time. And, like... there's a lot of trouble that YouTube brings, right? And you're like, it's not a stable income. You have like You know, watching like Chud Logic and Nick DeOrio, you have some months where you get like $10,000 and you have other months where you get like $100. There's a giant gap in how much money that you actually get in donations. And I understand that's different from streaming. My understanding has like a completely split difference between streaming and an actual like YouTube video content creation. And like if you're streaming, that's like almost entirely donation based, and that's a lot more understandable. But like, you know what's going on and stop bitching about it. You know that going in, stop. Oh, absolutely. You absolutely know that. There's I don't get how you don't know that going in. That being said, this guy did start, you know, fucking 15 years ago or some shit like that. Some like insanely long time ago. But he's not crazy. He's incredibly smart. He is manipulating his audience in such a smart fucking way.
For me, and editing is always kind of a slog, and they're like the exact opposite. Like editing comes really easy for them, and they always get.
I disagree that he's bitching, because bitching to me is the like sense that you are complaining for like no reason or for little reason. This guy knows exactly what the fuck he's doing.
Like, they have a really hard time with writing, so that project has been actually surprisingly like easy for both of us. So I'm gonna see that through to the end of the year, and there'll be like a super cut of all 52 videos. You know, intro, 50 reviews, and conclusion that'll hit YouTube January of 2026 when that's done. So like I'm gonna see that through. Had a lot of stuff I was working on that I don't know when or if it will come out. Had this like really big thing I'd been working on for a few years about neo-noir, and
Neo-noir?
I had something about
What the fuck is
Disco Elysium
neo-noir?
that was kind of becoming a manifesto on what I wanted the channel to be.
He wrote a manifesto on fucking Disco Elysium? What the fuck? What is wrong with this guy? He did join Nebula, and that has 1.3 million members, and they split it evenly among them all, I'm pretty sure. Let me check that out. I actually don't know that much about Nebula, honestly. Nebula seems like a... Like, it's not terrible. But it seems for people, like, a place for people who don't really have anywhere else to go. But, like, I know, Linus Tech Tips has taken a pretty big, stance in Nebula. Okay, how does Nebula work? How Nebula works. This is not an explanation, actually. As a streaming service, Nebula is a platform where creators can upload video content without typical restrictions and noise. Nebula is a video on demand, 100% creator owned. It was launched by Standard Broadcast in 20... Oh, this is not telling me the fucking information that I want. How does Nebula work? It's where people like real life lore go and stuff to post more stuff they want without YouTube restrictions. I get that. I'm just wondering how the monetization works. Because it looks like you have to pay $60 even if you are a creator. Jobs? Oh, I might look into that later. I would love a new job if it paid me more. FAQ? It doesn't say. It doesn't say how Nebula's monetization works. Blog? Terms of service. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing on stream. That would suck. This already kind of sucks. No, there's nothing for finance, income, or anything like that. So Nebula's pretty... What is it? Blackballed? You don't get to see how they like monetize their creators before you join.
In 2025, having wrapped the alt-right playbook, there was this thing on John Wick that I wanted to get out this month before Ballerina.
Okay, so he's delivering reviews on Nebula, the platform that he's not advertising, and the platform that he's like on constantly. He's simply getting a share of other people's revenue monthly and putting out bullshit on it. Okay.
There's like 3 or 4 protagonists.
Do not download his contact or resume. That is illegal.
You know, following the election,
that is against terms of service.
The good guys lose, and then life goes on, because that felt really resonant. That all this stuff. So that'll come out if it comes out. I don't know if any of that will come out in any form.
Whoa.
I hate to let anything go to waste, but I don't know.
He hates to let anything go to waste. If the earlier part wasn't my breaking point, this certainly is. He has not uploaded in 4 months, besides him uploading a video being a YouTuber bankrupted me, which is the one where we're watching right now. This guy loves to let things go to waste, especially time.
I don't know what to do with it. I mean, none of it's done.
You know what's funny? Look at him now. He's kind of like old looking. Look at him like a few years ago. That's not the one I wanted to look at. Look at him here. He already looks kind of old, and then you go to this. He has let time pass him by. He has let the most like useful, valuable resource us as humans have. He has let that completely go to waste. Because instead of making money, instead of doing things that help him grow as a person, he's fucking like reviewing video games for no purpose. Now look, I'm a ball above. Okay, I'm a notch above these guys. Besides Mandalore, because I think Mandalore also ended up actually getting what he wanted. I want to make video games. I review games for a fucking reason. I want to make video games. That's my ultimate goal. I want to make the best video games anybody has ever fucking seen. Okay? I will have a shitload of missteps on the way, but that's the path to growth and progress. And he's fucking doing nothing. He's reviewing games, he's reading books, he's watching movies. He's just enjoying life. He's high on life. And you know what? That's great for him. Because we'll get to it. But like, right now he's bankrupt. At the moment, he's bankrupt. Let's finish the video. He's bankrupt right now. Keep in your mind, he's bankrupt. He has no money. He's maxed out all of his credit cards. He has tons of loans between banks and random people that he knows. He is bankrupt and in debt and dying.
We'll see, is all I can say. I also I've been meaning to do this for a while, but when I finished the alt-right playbook, I had like made a decision after the re-election that I just wanted to wrap it, which meant kind of jumping to the end. I had a few scripts still unproduced, and my intent is to still is, to release the unproduced scripts under Creative Commons license, and
Oh, you're gonna
also
like
a graphics pack of a
publish
bunch
your
of
scripts?
at least the base graphics, the little dupes.
Okay, look, I'll be honest. A lot of people haven't taken notice of that. I actually do think that's kind of cool.
So anyone who wants to use the title, the Alt-Right Playbook, to produce those scripts is welcome to, provided you release under the same Creative Commons license. That's a thing I've been meaning to do for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Wrapped up doing other stuff. So I'll
If he ever gets to it, because it seems like he's never going to.
probably still do that. And I will post a GoFundMe. I was gonna do like a big fundraiser and live stream and everything to try to see if I could raise the money from the community to help pay off the debt. I'm not gonna do all that now, but I will post a GoFundMe if anyone wants to help me pay down that debt. I mean, bankruptcy is not necessarily the only way of dealing with it. And when you file for bankruptcy, you have to pay some of it.
Oh my god, he can't even file for bankruptcy. He's too poor for bankruptcy. Oh my god, this guy, I feel so bad. I could fake tears right now if I had a camera.
To have some chunk of money. And there's also a thing called an offer in compromise, where you basically offer them a percentage of the debt you owe and see if they'll accept it, and you have to pay that in a lump sum. I've done that with collections agents before.
Whoa.
So
I'm kind of lucky because, well, I don't know if I'm lucky yet. Hopefully, I'll never have to go through bankruptcy. And I'm lucky that I haven't had to yet. But this guy is considering bankruptcy when he hasn't uploaded a real video in 4 months. The last time he uploaded a video was 4 months ago, called the Alt-Right Playbook X Philosophy Tube. And it got more views than Why Don't You Respond to Criticism? And that got more views? Well, that got more views. That got less views. But it's still pretty good. 300,000, 700, almost 800,000, 500,000. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Protogony 2, Abed? 1.5 million views. I don't know how many YouTube creators would kill to have that many views. A case study in Gamergate. He has a saga of COVIDs. Stuff that got him through COVID, I guess. 19. 2 million views. 200,000. 900,000, 4 million views. 2.5 million, 2 million, 1.6 million, 1.9 million. Dude, he has had massive success on almost every single project he's had. And he simply refuses to upload to YouTube.
If anyone wants to contribute to that, you can also still back the Patreon, even if it's just if you just want to think of it as a thank you. And I thank you as well. You can do that. Links to both of those, I guess, will be down there. And if anyone out there would like to hire the services of Ian from Innuendo Studios, and you're offering something that at least has health insurance, I'll also put a resume and contact info in the down there part. So I don't think I'm disappearing. Whatever I'm doing, I'm always going to be making stuff, and this is where I have a particular audience, and so if anything I make is video, it will end up here. And I hope,
dude, his resume is so shit.
Depending on what my earnings are, I might just turn off ads. I hate watching videos with ads.
His resume is awful.
If this isn't my income anymore,
he's turning off ads? No, don't turn off ads. That's how you get your residual pennies. What are you gonna fucking get any kind of like passive income now if you turn off ads? No, keep your ads on. Why are you turning off ads?
I might just go ahead and turn those off. I mean, if I'm not posting videos anymore, it doesn't end up being very much anyway.
How much is very much? Can we see? How much do you mean by very much? It doesn't end up being very much. How much is very much? Can we see? I want to see how much very much is. Because that's pretty important to me, at least. How much is not very much? Show me. Okay, I gotta pee real bad. Sorry, fellas. Moment. All right, sorry about that. But I'm back now. Hopefully that wasn't too long. Okay, so we left off on him turning off advertisements and deciding to not make money from his YouTube channel anymore.
But if I'm able to do this part-time, then maybe not. Maybe I'll keep that on because it'll actually be a source of income.
Oh, he'll keep it on. Okay, guys, he'll keep making money. He'll keep wasting your
Right now,
time
I'm
for
just not.
fucking money. Okay, look, I know that sounds bad. Sounds hypocritical almost. My opinion is that you basically have to decide which way you want to make money. Whether you want to make it through advertisements, purely donations, or merchandising. I think merchandising lets you pick one of the other two in lesser degrees. Okay. So, my opinion is that if you run things on advertisements, that's like the normal, that's the default, okay? Almost everybody runs things on advertisements. If you run things on donations, then you're asking for a lot. And I don't like asking people for shit, especially not donations, especially not money. And so I'm not going to find, hopefully, myself doing that. We'll give it like a year. We'll give it this channel being successful, semi-successful, and me losing a job to see if that turns out to be true. And then you have merchandising. And if you ask for merchandising, I feel like that obligates you to lower the amount of advertisements you have on your videos to maybe 1 or 2. Even if you have like an hour-long video, I feel like you can't do more than 3. Like 1 per 30 minutes, basically. But if you're not doing any of those, why are you even online? Why are you even trying to make a career out of being online?
Promising anything specific. Thank you all for 11 years of Innuendo Studios. Even if
Aww.
the financial precarity, like my official position right now, is that
So sad, guys.
it's not worth
This
it
is
anymore.
horrible.
For those 11 years, it really was.
Aww.
And I don't know what's out there. I'm probably calling a temp agency on Monday.
He's gonna call
Good
a
God.
temp agency?
You know what
Oh
it's
my
like to have
god,
a resume
dude.
that
That's
just
so
says content creator
sad.
for 11 years. What does that
11
even qualify
years.
you for? But it's been an honor,
It's been an honor. I salute you, Innuendo Studio, sir.
and I hope we see each other again soon.
Aw, I'll see you in heaven, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, wait, let's not let's not immediately jump into Linus Tech Tip. Okay, so let's get past the mask off phase. Innuendo Studios. What did you guys think of that? Did he successfully tug your heartstrings? Did he pull enough? Did he not? Well, he hosted a GoFundMe. Let's help him pay $87,000 off in debt. Alright, so here's the original post as far as I can see. Probably not as original as it would if I got here sooner, but whatever. Between back taxes, fees, a credit card in collections, and bailout loans from loved ones, running Innuendo Studios for 11 years has put me over $87,000 in debt. I'm suspending the channel and getting a day job, but would welcome anyone wanting to pitch in to help with the debt. Back taxes, $59,000. Assuming I can correct an incorrect audit from 2019. Credit debt in collections, $18,957. Loans from loved ones, $9,331. Total, $87,000. So my imagination immediately goes to, if he has loans, but he's had to pay off credit debt before, his loan from loved ones probably earned him a higher credit card limit, and he still maxed it out. You ain't need a new PC that bad, bro. I know. Alright, so here's a message from him. Hey everybody, I don't know how to write this message. What do I even say? I'll start with thank you. This is absolutely overwhelming. I am humbled. I feel like I should say here's the plan, but I don't have one yet. I can't close my eyes for too long or else I get super dizzy. Jesus Christ. You don't have a plan for the future? This guy's having a midlife crisis. Look, honestly, I think that's like the best, most like generous take you can possibly have of Ian Danskin, is that he's having a mania from like a midlife crisis situation, which is possible. That has happened to people in the past, but like this is insane, creating a giant fucking GoFundMe. And going like insanely into debt, by the way. So one of the things is that he lives in Massachusetts. You can get it from his resume that he decided to publish. And somewhere in here, I'm not certain. I remember it from a Chud Logic stream, so I'm not sure I want to say because some of his people really reveal information that should not be public. But let's just say that he lives in an expensive part of Massachusetts. And he refuses to move. It might be in the comment section here, actually. So you're the reason I signed up for Patreon. No shame, whatever's. I think actually he self-admits to it. Where basically he lives in an insanely, like, expensive place in Boston. And refuses to move. Okay? So he's got like a few $1,000s in just residual views, like $1,000 or $2,000 in residual views. Okay, that's views that happen far after an algorithm uploads a video. That is purely people who go out of their way to watch old videos on your channel. That is the definition of residual views, and he gets like hundreds. Not hundreds of thousands. Sorry, hundreds to thousands of dollars a month. Purely from residual views on the alt-right playbook. And so he pays about $4,000 a month of rent. I wish I could source it. And if I make a video out of this, you will see the sourcing on the screen at the moment. So, Ian Danskin, sir. For now, I'm just going to breathe a bit. So, sorry, now I'm just going to try and breathe easy for a bit. I'm closing donations. Honestly, that is one of the few respectable things that he's done, is he hasn't scammed even more people than he possibly could. I should announce I'm closing donations a few hours before I do, so people can hop on if they want. But why? I'm already so far over the target, I don't know what to do with it. I don't need to optimize. It's more than enough already. I'll update folks when there's more to update about. Thank you again. So this seems nice, right? You helped paid off $87,000 of debt for a guy who went from, I'm assuming this is his YouTube money. He went from making roughly about $4,500 a month down to almost 3,000. Let's say that's above the 3,000 line, right? It's about 3.7, 3.6K. He's making about 3.6K. He hasn't been making rent for 2 months and he decides to make a debt video because he hasn't paid his taxes in ever. Oh my god. I didn't realize that. Nobody else has noticed this. I'm so cool and unique and smart. You should follow me. Guys, I literally don't know of another YouTuber who has noticed this, okay? I've watched Chud, I've watched Harmful Opinions, I've watched Quayman. Nobody else has noticed this. He's making less than rent even before 2021 because he has to donate 33% of his earnings, because he lives in Massachusetts, to taxes. Here's an even better thing for you to know, because for all the non-Americans out there, you get that back in federal taxes. Yes, you normally get state taxes back in your federal tax return. So, all this money that he needs to donate, he is just an incompetent fucking idiot who does not know the first thing about fucking TurboTax or Rocket Money or H&R Block or any other fucking tax service. He cannot operate any of them. Apparently, because he doesn't know the difference between state and federal taxes. Basically, what I'm saying is he should be getting about 23% of his money back in federal taxes, if he's doing his taxes right, which he obviously isn't. So, what did he do with the $150,000 of donated money? Well, that's a good question, me. Thanks, me. It looks like it's not on his Patreon. Bro believes in the tax scam Colliers. So true. Wait, that's the ice raids. So we don't get to see because I am not willing to donate to him. Wait, $1? I don't make money from YouTube yet, so no thanks. So I do have other people's videos to go through this in case I couldn't get it publicly. So here's Chud Logic's video. So basically, all right, so this isn't going to be easily readable for you guys. Wait, let me put OBS on the other screen and maybe I can make it readable. Oh no, that's fine. I am now officially, so this is from Innuendo Studios. You can see from, oh, there's a bingo card. You can see from the Patreon post, May 13054, whatever. It says Innuendo Studios up there. Oh no, it says Quantifica May. Sorry. And if you go to this, you go to Quantifica May, it'll say the exact same thing. So it's pretty easily verifiable, I think. I am now officially on sabbatical, so the progress reports won't be very substantive, save for the updated number on the adventure game tier list. By the way, he got $150,000 and he's still not making fucking YouTube videos. He is still refusing to do actual work that he has so far made his career from, that he is instead going on sabbatical and continuing to review adventure games. What a fool, what a scammer. He is taking money. By the way, let's go to the messages on his GoFundMe. You changed my life with the All Right playbook. I would have never merely generic unthinking, whatever. Let's see. As a small business owner, you need every dollar you get as a small business owner. This person is probably also incredibly in debt. Somebody mentioned something about college, I remember. University? Maybe it hasn't loaded. No more. No more. Oh, so it goes like 15 comments per show more. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of poor people who need the money more and have not... and Ian Danskin is begging for money and garnering money from those people rather than committing to a successful YouTube channel. So rather than uploading videos or whatever, he is begging essentially from poor college students subsisting on ramen and unfiltered water. Terrible, terrible situation, honestly. Okay, so go back to the Chud video. With the overwhelming outpouring of support in response to the indefinite hiatus video, I am now making more than enough on Patreon to survive without accruing debt. And the GoFundMe was large enough to pay off my outstanding debts with a considerable amount left over. I have said thank you many times in many places, and it's just going to keep happening, I'm afraid. Yeah, multiple things here. First off, he also does get Patreon money. He does not just get YouTube ad revenue, which is just what that graph showed. It does not include YouTube Red revenue. Red? YouTube Red? YouTube Heroes? YouTube Premium revenue. Nor does it show Patreon revenue. So this person, Ian Danskin, lied quite heavily in how much money he was actually earning. Because it's a very deceitful thing. It's a very subterfugal thing where he is showing his ad revenue in a place that's already difficult to see, because you would go to his GoFundMe and you'd be like, oh, that's just a random graph. Scroll down, donate, whatever. But the only reasonable thing that could be is his ad revenue. However, he is making YouTube Red revenue. I keep saying YouTube Red. Am I stupid? Am I retarded? He is still making YouTube Premium revenue, and he is still making Patreon revenue. Now, could that make up for 33%? What is 33% of $4,000? Good question. It's $1,033. $1,333. Now, if we go to Graphtreon, I don't know why I'm doing an accent. I'm pretty terrible at this. Graphtreon, Innuendo Studios. Wait, is it Ian Danskin or Innuendo Studios? It's Ian Danskin. Sorry, I'm a little drunk. I just typed in Ian Studios. So if you go to Ian Danskin, let's see. Before he made this video, he was making per month $3,500. Dude. Dude. So he's making $4,000 on YouTube revenue, ad revenue, not fucking premium. And he's making $3,500 on fucking Patreon money. Sorry, you guys can't see this. Let me show you. I swear to God, I'm not lying. Oh my God, I fucked up the tabs. Here we go. He's making 3,500. He makes 1 month where he's a little low at 3,300, but otherwise he's making 3,500. So in total, just from his ads and Patreon, he is making almost $8,000 a month. $8,000 a month. And this guy cannot pay 33% of his income. 33% of 8,000 is roughly 2.6 thousand. He cannot pay that in taxes. He is spending so far above his living limit. And everybody who donated to him on his Patreon, on fucking GoFundMe, has absolutely let him live in absolute depravity on their dollar. I cannot be clearer with this. This man is making $8,000, and I suspect due to YouTube Premium, perhaps even $9,000. Let's say he's living on roughly $6,000 a month. People paid off his debt and let him live for free. So, if we go to his posts and see... Oh, I can't because he's on Patreon. God damn, dude. Fuck off. Okay. So I want to skip past all the bullshit. I'll read it anyway. A lot of the folks have been insistent that these donations and pledges do not mean that they expect me to start making videos again, which, again, thank you. And I'm taking that to heart. So he's not making videos again. I had accepted when I made that video that I simply might not be a YouTuber anymore, and I finally let myself feel the full weight that I simply might not be a YouTuber anymore. Oh, finally feel the full weight of how much burnout and exhaustion I had been carrying. There wasn't much room for it. I came into this year excited about finishing the alt-right playbook and thinking of all the different kinds of videos I might make. I had to lay all the burnout on ARP, I don't know who that is, that I wasn't exhausted from the hustle and the financial precarity. I had just burnt out on that one project, and having now let that in, I can't exactly wring it back out myself. But it's not as if the enthusiasm for the John Wick and Disco Elysium and adventure game tier list has disappeared. This guy refuses to make a video on his main channel. He's exclusively making content for Nebula at this point, despite the fact that his main channel is the primary earner for him, unless somehow Nebula is earning him more than $4,000 a month. But it's not as if the... Oh, I already read that. The odd thing about this kind of job is that you can feel rejuvenated and absolutely sick of your job at the same time. So what I said in the video still holds. I'm not committing to being a YouTuber or to quitting. For the length of this break, I am entertaining the idea that what if I wasn't a YouTuber? I cannot tell. At this moment, the line between just need to rest and ready to move on. Only thing to do is give myself the rest I need and see where it started. So the terms of my sabbatical are as follows. For the summer of 2025, it is not my job to make videos. This does not necessarily mean I won't make videos, though don't hold your breath. Merely that it is not my job to. I will rest. I will probably work a part-time W-2 job and will explore projects. I haven't had room for with the channel. Okay, you might think I've like slurred my words there or like misunderstood. He just said I haven't had room for with the channel. What the fuck does that mean? Nebula, if it is split evenly or even more so for him, he would get more money. So that makes sense if he would like dedicate more time to it, but I don't know how Nebula works. If it does, that I guess would make sense. Or maybe it would make more sense for him to dedicate time to his channel to promote Nebula? Maybe there's an easy answer. Wait, what if I type in how does making money on Nebula work? He makes so much short form content too, so he makes even much more views. Okay, Nebula makes money for its creators. No, how do creators get paid? Oh, okay, so here's how. Okay, so according to Google AI at Grok, Nebula profit is divided 50-50 between the creator and the standard, which is Nebula. The creator pool is paid out based on watch time. So that's 5 years ago that answer was. They might have changed it since then. 2 years ago. So it seems like it's based on watch time, and then whoever doesn't watch or use their Nebula looks like it gets paid out evenly between people. So he could be making a lot. Most of his videos on here are like 1 to 3 minutes long. I don't use Nebula. That's cool that you do. That's good information to know, but if his videos are 1 to 3 minutes long... Look, if I had the money to waste, I actually wouldn't mind taking like a deep dive into Ian Danskin and seeing exactly what the fuck he's doing with all of his time that he has to beg for money. Because, like, long story short, he garnered $160,000 from people and ended up taking a trip to Japan. That's what he's doing with everybody's, like, money that they felt so bad for him. There are college students who decided not to get their macros and protein because they wanted to donate to the poor YouTuber. The poor YouTuber who makes like $10,000 to $12,000 a month. It's disastrous. Okay. So what I said in the video still holds. I'm not committed to being a YouTuber or quitting. For the length of this break, I am entertaining the idea. What if I wasn't a YouTuber? Oh, I already read that. So the terms of my sabbatical are as follows. I already read that too. Okay. In September, I'm going to visit a friend of mine. They live in Japan. I've wanted to take an extended trip to see them for ages, but hadn't had the money for it. They live very cheaply in Japan, and it's likely I can break even on expenses, provided we cook most of our meals ourselves. It's just a matter of having the upfront airfare costs, which thanks to you, I have. So this means that instead of making videos, he's going to Japan to hang out with a buddy. And whatever he means by breaking even, somehow he will make $6,000 in Japan. Or 9,000. Sorry, that was just covering his previous Patreon and his YouTube earnings. His YouTube earnings are probably up to $4,000 now. Graphtreon shows that he is making almost $7,000. This guy is making $11,000 a month minimum, according to these numbers. He's gonna stay in Tokyo, though, where he would not make enough to survive. True. I don't know. If he's making $11,000, if he can get the money converted, he's perfect. He's well off and even rich in Japan. Here's something I heard from watching somebody today. Apparently, Japanese people, a lot of them, whenever they travel to some place that's expensive, they will take rice with them to help survive the economic cost of traveling. Um, so like Japan is actually a relatively cheap place, and I've looked at Japan. Okay, it is insanely cheap compared to America. Okay, for buying a hotel next to me, it's like $100 a month. For buying a hotel in Osaka, it's like $30 or $40. It's insanely cheap. So if this guy is making $11,000, that's mind blowing. Because he's making 7,000 from here, 3,500 or 4 to 5,000. Sorry, 3,000 from ad revenue, and then more from other potential incomes. Japan is cheap as hell, but like he could go to so many more places. Thailand is a hell of a lot more cheaper. Same with all of Southeast Asia. That's very true, right? Because I've watched people who go to like Laos or fuck, there's a place in between like Vietnam and Thailand, I think. I don't know. I've watched people go to Laos or Indonesia or Vietnam, and it's so incredibly cheap. And he's deciding to go to like the most expensive place in East Asia. Just to visit a friend. Because he's like, oh yeah, I just got $160,000 from my fans, the people who love me and the people who are willing to donate to me after like years of not making a good video. So I'm gonna take a vacation. Oh my god, I just spilled drink. That's okay. Cambodia, thank you. I knew I was missing a place. Thank you so much. So does he actually have his money public? He doesn't. Graph shows, though. Oh, no, he does. Okay, wait, you can't see it. Fuck. Fuck. How does OBS show it? Filter, crop, bottom. Just turn off the bottom for now. Yeah, he's making $7,000 a month. Now, he was making like 3,500, 4,000 before. Sorry, I can't talk this much and like read this much and play Hoi 4 at the same time. Yeah, he's making a fuckload of money, a fuckload of shit ton of money. I will be back in the States in October. So this was uploaded in, I want to say May. So he is taking, where's the calendar? I'm bad with months because I'm a shut-in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taking a like 5-month sabbatical. That is more than most corporate jobs will allow. Most corporate jobs allow you like 2 weeks, 4 weeks at most. He's taking a 5-month sabbatical. No matter what, I'm still an art fuck who likes making things. Apparently not. Apparently you don't like making things. You like making really shitty reviews of movies and video games that no one cares about on a website nobody watches. Actually, for real, Ian Danskin. So whatever I do during my break will still end up here on Patreon, where people have to pay to see you. I'll still be updating the adventure game tier list, still be doing these monthly Quantifica posts, and probably I'll be interacting with y'all more than before. Okay, look, okay. So, taking a perspective, okay? I'm imagining myself as if I were somebody that donated to Innuendo Studios, okay? I want to put myself in the mind of somebody who has done that before, okay? I'm rubbing my temples. I'm looking thoughtfully into the potential future or present where I donated to Ian Danskin, and he went to Japan after he like almost doubled his debt. Okay, you know what, that's okay. You know, maybe he just needed a break. Oh, fuck, he's going for like almost 6 months. Okay, you know, everybody needs a break. He's been working like 30-hour days every single day for 11 years. Oh fuck. Oh, okay, you know, he just needs a really fucking long break. he's not even going to enjoy his break because he's going to be working. He's going to Japan to work. What is wrong with this guy? Like, if you know everything, if you're well informed about Innuendo Studios, there is no part of my brain that can imagine a person that is completely acceptable with everything that Ian Danskin is doing. And I wonder if I'm crazy. Because I kind of feel like there are too many people that donated to this guy who have no idea every fucking thing that's going on with him. Okay, so he's also got like a fucking bingo card. So a bunch of money-related squares on the bingo card got filled all at once when I expected them to be a year-long spanning projects. I'm gonna say it again, thank you. So he has a bingo card of like vacations he wants to take or things he wants to buy. In fact, gotten the Patreon back to pre-pandemic levels, and I achieved my 2024 financial target. So I'm assuming that means that he paid off all of his debts. Y'all are a little bit throwing off the program here, but I'm not complaining. Oh, wrong drink. I just tried to sip a close. I'm actually out of grog. Shit, I have to drink water now. That's honestly really good for me. As long as we're talking about the debt, let me give you an update. The first debts I settled were the loans from loved ones. So he settled the least dangerous debts to him first. They are the simplest to deal with as they don't involve any paperwork. The IRS keeps me on hold for 80 to 140 minutes every time I call. And usually all that comes of it is the forms you mailed us aren't in the system. So, this brings two things to mind. Either one, he hasn't actually mailed the forms out because he's a lazy fuck. Or based, so true. Look. There's a part of me that wants to hate him for stealing poor people's money. There's a part of me that wants to respect him for just going out and fucking doing it. Like, Jesus Christ. He made his bag. He made $160,000 in a fucking afternoon just for being like, "Hey guys, I'm really poor and I might get arrested, so can you give me money?" And people fucking did it. He came up with a convincing enough sob story that people donated him like almost like 3 years of what it takes for me to make that. No, God. Without taxes? Sorry, with taxes? Oh God, I don't even know how long that would be. Like 5, 6 years? With rent, much, much less. Or much, much more. Jesus. So what it sounds like to me is that he's literally like hanging up and not asking for new forms or something. It's not taking the extra mile that he needs to do. He needs to take the normal fucking mile. He needs to run the ordinary mile. Okay. I can't make a payment until everything is on file, but I've gotten the relevant addresses to send money to and gotten digital copies for all the forms I signed. I think I have located the correct contact info for the collections agency that has it currently, so I have some fun phone calls to make. Okay, so you know what's crazy? He begged for money from his debt collectors with the IRS without the IRS even asking him for money. Like, the IRS doesn't even have the forms properly settled, and they aren't even asking him for money. So he has, like, back taxes, sure. But they're not, like, accruing. They're not like in collections. They're not trying to get it from him. So he's begged for money for a debt that he doesn't even really have yet. If he begged for money after the IRS came to him, that would be much more reasonable and understandable. Meanwhile, the money is in a savings account until I get it where it needs to go. It's not in a savings account. Actually, it's paying for a fucking plane ticket to Japan. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. We have a bunch of Patreon comments sucking him off. So, if you thought that was bad, this isn't the first time that Ian Danskin has had this happen.
And talks about.
So I believe it's this video. And if not, there's another one to go through.
What is Innuendo Studios? That's going to be partly up to you. Stick with me while I get existential for a moment. For most of its existence, Innuendo Studios has been a video essay series about games. Adventure games, shooters, platformers.
Has it?
But I've always tried to talk about games
It was 7 years ago, so maybe.
sort of like how Michael Pollan talks about food. As in, I use games to talk about everything. So a video about the beginner's guide becomes a narratological dissection of how stories work. A series about Gamergate and Anita Sarkeesian becomes a primer on male entitlement. A video about Super Smash Bros. Melee becomes a treatise on.
Oh yeah, he did walk himself into his own back taxes. He did not save up money for his taxes because he was one of those people who thought that YouTubers just didn't have to pay taxes.
On game theory and spectatorship, and the ways sports and video games are different, and also the ways they are the same. As the channels continued, it sort of spread like mold into a lot of other areas. Videos about art, film, politics. But I talk about all of these things with the same method. A video about art becomes an analysis of why some aspects of culture are difficult to define. A video on The Handmaiden becomes a study in screenwriting principles and female agency. A series on the alt-right becomes an extended attempt to understand and explain the reactionary mindset. So then, if it's not using games to talk about everything, I guess Innuendo Studios is using anything to talk about everything, while still talking a lot about games.
This might be
Time
the
to
wrong
get
video,
a job
actually.
job.
Oh wait, never mind.
And I had that sweet kick. For most of the last 3 years, I've balanced being a video essayist with being a freelancer and a part-time student. Sometimes the videos have been steady, like back in 2015 when I had that sweet Kickstarter money. And sometimes
he had a Kickstarter to start his fucking channel. He had a Kickstarter in 2015 to start animating Innuendo Studios. And I thought to myself that that was fucking crazy. He said job. He said the J word. Wait. Yeah. No, dude. He just doesn't get it. He just doesn't fucking get it, man. Boo. Did I scare you? I'm a job application. This 47 minutes ago. What the fuck? Oh god. Sometimes like fucking operating all this stuff sucks at the same time.
Boo! It's a job application.
not so much. Since at the ripe age of 33 I finally finished my BFA, I've been able to focus more on the channel. But not as much as I'd like. Freelancing comes in waves and videos often take well over 100 hours to produce, so I'm still inconsistent. An inconsistency
YouTube it takes over 100 hours to produce a video. It takes that long for me because I have fucking like chores to do and a real job that I have to tend to. Like I have a video in production right now and it is delayed because I have to check for fucking copyright. But like I can't imagine a guy like him has to worry about that because everything is self-made, right? Oh my god.
Tends to make people not want to back you on Patreon, which means I have to keep freelancing, which keeps me inconsistent. And you see how we get stuck in a loop. And with my rent going up and my student loans going into repayment.
What was his Patreon 7 years ago? 5 years? Does it go farther? Expand. Nope. All? So wait, 7 years ago was 2018. So it looks like after this video... No way, he did another begging video and it doubled his fucking income. He went from 1,800 to fucking... Or sorry, he went from 900 to... He tripled his Patreon income! Dude, you're shitting me! All it takes to get money from YouTube is to beg? Jesus Christ. Oh my god, this might be one of the worst things I've ever fucking noticed. This is awful.
And that loop isn't cutting it anymore. Which leaves me with the question, is it time to get a job?
That's literal. Dude, this is the same video. He made the same video with like 2025 tendencies.
Or can Innuendo Studios be the job? So choose your own adventure. Scenario 1, I get a steady job, flip the Patreon over to per video, and only make video essays when I can find the time, which might be twice a year.
Is what
Innuendo Studios is the best gig I've ever had, and I don't...
It does not take a year to make a video essay, okay? The time that it takes to make a video essay is as long as it takes, okay? It does not take... Oh, guys, it takes me 6 months to make a video essay, okay? You don't know the time it takes to make a video, okay? Ever. Almost ever. You do not know the time it takes to make a video, unless you're one of those daily or weekly people who like, oh, I have to make a video every single fucking day. If it does not come out every day, I'm not good enough, or something like that, right? But if you're like usually on the monthly or yearly process, it comes out whenever it's ready. Okay. And there's plenty of examples. Yeah, like JonTron, Patrician TV. Those are the two main ones, honestly. Where it's like they make videos whenever they're ready. Private sessions. Tetramore. Me. You can obviously see my fucking biases from that, honestly. But like, a video is done whenever it's done. This guy is saying that it's 100 hours because he wants to garner more money from the people that he's that view his videos, because that's how that works. You're like, oh my god, it takes so long to make a video and I love his videos. Well, I have to support him now. I can't like not support him if it takes so long to make a video. That's what the people think. Instead of like, oh, well, he should probably shorten the time it takes to make a fucking video if this is his career and job. My opinion is that a video is ready when it's ready, but this guy isn't even working on them.
Don't plan on giving it up, but we just let the idea of consistency
So therefore, he
go.
should get
Scenario
a job.
2, we get the Patreon at least close to the next milestone where I can actually cover my expenses, and I, for the first time ever, put out a video each and every month. There's a number of things we could do if we got past that milestone. The channel would certainly be improved by a better mic and a bigger tablet, and I'd have time to attend more conferences or maybe do charity live streams, but even getting close would be a big deal. Now, I could tell you about Patreon perks. There's a behind-the-scenes blog, annotated versions of the essays, semi-regular update videos, and with more elbow room, I could ramp up all 3. But those aren't real.
He looks so different in every single one of his videos. I wonder if there's like some mad scientist in BreadTube that's creating clones of Ian Danskin until they finally get one right. And they finally did. That got like $160,000.
Real reasons for someone to open their wallet. Really, the only reason to pledge $1 or $2 a month to me, some dude on the internet, is if you prefer Scenario 2 to Scenario 1. I, for one, am curious to see what happens. Catch you next time.
Yeah, so we learned that he refuses to get a job, but he does consider it every single time that he's not making enough money. And He was begging for money when he was making $1,000 a month on Patreon. $1,000. He was begging for money. And so, look, inflation in America has been awful. I have personally felt it quite a bit. Monster Energy has gone from $20 to $40, but it has not risen 300 fucking percent since 7 years ago. Okay? It's not risen that much. It's risen almost close, but to the point where he's going from 900 to 2,800 to 3,500. It has not risen that much. He can absolutely sustain his lifestyle and pay taxes. Excuse me. He is just horrid with money. Okay, so you might think, shit. Sorry, I should get the can out of my hand because I know I'm going to keep slapping it. You're going to be thinking, fuck. This guy, he begged for money twice, got away with it. Shame on once. Sorry. Trick me once, shame on you. Trick me twice, shame on me. What if you trick me 3 times? Dude, that was a fucking video game showcase thing. So, a few years ago in a privated video, this is going to be watching Harmful Opinions
Last
because
month,
he
I
covered
talked
it.
briefly about our buddy Ian Danskin, a bread tuber who is in some debt.
But a few months, I can't get over my fucking thing. A while ago, he actually, Ian Danskin, begged for money again a few years ago. Sorry, I don't know if I said months. I think I said months.
Like a street vendor with polio. Anyway, this segment is pure gold from the very first line. Prepare yourself.
It is impossible to discuss financial struggles to the people who pay for my career without running the risk of exploitation.
Go watch the first video about this I made.
So, like, I think that's true whenever you're talking personally to random people, but if you're talking to a bunch of people who you don't know in the internet who aren't your, like, investors or family or just friends who do want to, like, mug you, I guess, I don't think that's true.
Knowing that he had that on his mind for over a month at least. It's way better with this knowledge, and I wish I'd been able to include it.
I don't want to be that guy who says, everybody chip in to save the channel multiple years in a row, and you all just take me at my word that the channel is indeed struggling.
He has done this multiple years in a row.
We all know how people lie about money and foster parasocial relationships just to enrich themselves. It's a pitfall of this industry, and they poison the well for everybody.
Luckily, though, we have Ian's rock-solid receipts. We can see that he, in fact, only owns 2 pieces of bread.
He does.
But I am struggling, and the struggle is real.
And his 2 pieces of bread have holes in them.
No, it's so fucking true. I literally can't imagine this being anything but like a grab for fucking attention and money to show that you're bread. Like you're literally like it's not that the holes have bread in them, is that he's grabbing like it's the last 2 pieces of bread out of the bag. He all that he has left is the last 2 pieces of bread out of the bag. Oh my god, he has no money because he's down to the butt of the bread. And all Americans know you would never eat the butt of the bread.
And they're not bagels.
And I'm going to need to ask for help. So, here are some...
He lives in a pretty standard apartment, it looks like. Like, he has the exact same stove as me, and all the walls are painted the exact same white color as me.
Numbers.
It's mine.
A basic fact for the self-employed in the US is that you have to pay about 30% of your income in taxes.
I am not a US tax god, but I guess gonna be self-employment tax, federal income tax, whatever else. About 30%, maybe.
At my level...
Yeah, normally you do get your state income tax paid back to you in federal tax. I guess the thing that I didn't consider is whether or not... Wait, okay. Let me look it up, actually. Freelance federal tax. Self-employed individuals tax register. That is not easy. What the fuck? Estimated taxes. Wait, what? Okay, so TurboTax says that you're estimated to pay about 16% to federal freelancer tax. So that means that he's getting roughly 17% since he said 33 back, which means that he's actually getting taxed less than me despite earning less than me, which means that I hate him.
This can be between $10,000 and $15,000 a year. Now, if I had an employer, it would be less.
I presume he's referring to half of FICA being paid by the employer.
Actually, no. I think if he had an employer, he would be paying way more.
I would need to earn 3 times as much as I...
See, I have an advantage over harmful opinions. There's a reason I can watch this video. It's because I know more about American taxes. It's like the only fucking thing.
I do before I would be paying 30%. So, welcome to freelancing.
Cool numbers, Ian. How much less would you have to pay if the money you made last year was through employment? The actual cash amount. Does that sound a little bit less catastrophic than the way you're explaining things
Absolutely,
now?
yeah.
I have only been able to pay the entirety of my taxes 1 time in the past 7 years.
Wait, why are you saying it like that?
What?
Which year in the last 7 were you able to do it?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. I mean, I don't know. Not like exactly which year, but like how come you're only able to pay 1 year? And how come you're not able to pay all the other years? And why didn't you make it seem like you weren't able to in your most recent video?
And why did these troubles start 7 years ago? Did you notice that in the May video as well? He said since about 7 years ago, he's been running the channel at a loss.
Taking a full account, I have been running this channel at a loss.
There is no way he's been running it at a loss. There is absolutely... I didn't notice that, I think, because I'm drinking too much. But there is no way that he's running the channel at a loss unless he's literally making like $0. Like he has no advertisements, no sponsorships, no merchandising, no nothing, no premium money even. I don't even think you can't get. If you're monetized and if you turn off ads, I think you still get premium income. So unless that's the case, he still made money from his fucking Kickstarter. He still made money from his 3, like in total, 3 fucking GoFundMes, crowdfunding sources.
For 7 years.
Which is interesting because about 7.5-ish years ago, he uploaded a video called The Future of Innuendo Studios. In it, he explained he needed to decide whether he should get a job and focus less on the channel, or go all in if people provided him enough support. And one of the reasons was...
And with my rent going up and my student loans going into repayment, that loop isn't cutting it anymore.
He was very worried about those student loans earlier that year as well, saying it's going to take him a decade to pay it off, and he got off easy. 2 years after that, he was talking about paying off credit and personal debts alongside student loans. In 2022...
Oh, he found a tweet? Harmful Opinions found a tweet?
Talking about paying off credit...
Doing pretty okay now, though still kind of bootstrapping. Not getting a tax credit for being a student since graduation, still paying off credit and personal debts plus student loans. Seems every additional dollar I make is earmarked, but I'm getting by.
And personal debts alongside student loans. In 2022, he talked about getting a refund for contributions made during the 2020 payment pause, and hoped that Biden would make it disappear for him. You get this all sorted out, buddy? Spoiler. He did not, and he will mention it later in this unlisted video. It is not, however, unless I've somehow missed it, but I've double-checked. Student loans aren't mentioned in his May video that was public, nor are they mentioned on the GoFundMe, despite the repayment starting pretty much exactly when he said the start of his woes was.
Whoa, so this is just to pay off student loans?
And his loans obviously being a major factor. Weird. Why wouldn't he mention that you're paying off his student loans? Or how much of his debt they represented? Once he smashed his goal, why wouldn't he be ecstatic?
I wonder if he was like a perpetual student. That is like the only way I could think of this making like the slightest bit of like moral justification, I guess. Is like if he had like 300,000, 500,000, he had $3 quintillion in student loans. And he's like, guys, I need something to help pay me off. And like that's it. Otherwise, like, he's just a scoundrel and a rat.
Guys, you've even helped me pay off my student loans. Anyway, back to the video from March of this year. We're going to skip some yapping and get to his explanation of something that went wrong.
Patreon sends me my money through PayPal, and from PayPal I send it to my bank. But apparently both Patreon and PayPal report that as income to the government.
Yeah, and they make it very clear that they do that.
And so if
Yeah, that's actually like one of the things. I think if you join a PayPal, they tell you, or at the very least, it's like one of the first things in their EULA, where they'll tell you that like we report it, which is, I don't know, that's pretty ordinary. I mean, anything that's like represents a banking service, I feel like you should treat as a bank where you will get stuff that's like income related. And it's funny that he's complaining in this video that PayPal is reporting his income because they're reporting his income. Like, yeah, the thing that you're using as an income receiver is reporting that you're getting money. Like, can you get any, like, I don't know, stupider? Any dumber? Any, like, brainless-less? Can you imagine? I don't know.
few years back, I got an audit where they said you earned twice as much in 2019 as you claimed.
No way. So he lied about how much fucking money he got. Just like he's lying to all of his fucking donators that paid money. He's lying to them too.
Which means you owe us twice as much in taxes. I disputed this by their deadline, and I thought it was taken care of, but apparently not.
Whoa. Hold up. This
That's
happened
crazy.
in 2019. They were asking you for double tax, and you just put in a dispute, didn't follow up, didn't get confirmation. Oh, I'm sure it's fine. That shit
Yes.
would be eating me alive until I had absolute confirmation it was fixed.
Absolutely, for me too. I'm a fucking money grubber. I'm a fucking stooge when it comes to cash. And like, I'm all the way with harmful opinions on this. Absolutely. Fuck yeah. That would be eating me the fuck alive. I'd be calling the fucking IRS every day.
This blows my mind.
Now, I have a few options for dealing with this.
Which you can do. The IRS has a public number. I have called them before. I have called like 2 steps below the fucking Secretary of the Treasury, okay? It's actually really easy to get their number when you have like a business ordeal to solve. All right? It is not like a hard number to get. It is easy to process in general too, at least in my opinion. You kind of just have to make a couple calls.
Preference is to run some kind of fundraiser in the near future.
Yeah, my preference would be that people just give me the money as well, but, well, there is no but. That's what he did, and it worked.
But there is also really aggressive payment plan and call a bankruptcy lawyer. And when you get to the point where you might credibly say being a YouTuber bankrupted me, you have to stop and think a moment.
That's a point I'd say he never reached. Being
True.
a YouTuber is not what bankrupted him. Just FYI, I'm going to skip some yapping.
Now, I want to acknowledge that some of this is my
No, true. Being a YouTuber is actually what made him probably the most money he's ever seen in his life. Because, you know, just going through his fucking backlog again, he's making millions of views and probably thousands of dollars. You know? Like, I think it's not hitting the 10-minute mark on a lot of the videos, so he's not making as much money as he possibly could. But he's still making a decent bit, especially on the videos that hit like 10 million views. Like, come on, man. Or at least a few million. And not only that, but like, how come all the other animators and video makers manage to like survive, but you fucking can't?
fault.
The first time I heard this, I lost it, and it is almost as funny the second time.
The debt would not be nearly so big if I were better at budgeting,
So he admits to excessive spending.
Yes.
if I read my mail faster.
This is what I
What?
mentioned earlier. I was not
How? What? You would make more money if you read your mail faster? What does that even mean?
exaggerating. Part of the reason he was nearly 100K, if we believe him, in debt is because he didn't open, I don't know, bills, letters from his bank.
If I had followed up about that audit, I am not purely a victim here.
Not
Dude,
purely, just 99%. Nothing I could have
What
done.
is wrong with
But
this
also, this is
guy?
a bad and broken system, and
Yeah, you can't expect people to just open their mail.
What do you mean it's a bad... yeah, you can't... Oh, he's fucking talking about it. Yeah, you can't expect people to open their mail, apparently. Dude, you... Oh my god. You can go to the mailbox once a week. I do. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it every fucking month. Jesus. I think like most things usually have like a 30 or 60 day time limit. So if you do it once a month or once every other month, you're usually fine.
That's crazy.
even if I played it perfectly, there is no universe where I make what I make and finish the year with 12 grand left over for the government.
Money comes in. You put aside the part that's for taxes, roughly. You base your lifestyle on the other chunk. Then, this
Yes.
doesn't happen.
Not in this
I
city.
think you should be pessimistic, right? Like, if you owe 33% and you make a decent bit of money where you don't require every single literal penny, you should round up to the nearest 5 or 10%. So if you make 33%, you round up to 40% and then live off the other 60%. And that way, whenever you do your taxes, you have a little bit left over and it's a nice little bonus. I don't need to do that because I have a normal job, but like, holy shit. YouTubers definitely do.
I see, we've gone from this universe to, that city, and he has to live there, right?
Maybe not in this country.
Come on. You work online.
There was another YouTuber I watched, JFJ, who forgot to reserve taxes aside for his house. It wasn't exactly the same situation. Because in particular for him, it was because Texas had a very particular like tax change law. And that was horrible. I donated a few bucks for him because like that's terrible. He wanted to buy a house, he couldn't because like freelancer taxes jumped, or like entertainer taxes, I forget which one it was. Jumped at the year that happened. And it's like, oh, that's horrible. That sucks. It's an unavoidable situation. Whatever. But this guy has to deal with the same taxes in Massachusetts that's been in place for like 15, 20, 25 years. And he can't because he's overspending. What a fucking dickhead to even ask for money. And what an even bigger cockhead. I can't fucking imagine an insult good enough for this person that's allowable on YouTube and Twitch and whatever. For somebody who's begged for money from their fucking fan base 3 and what, like almost 4 times. 4 times, because he's had a Kickstarter, a begging video, a second begging video, and a third begging video.
You can live anywhere with electricity and an internet connection. Everyone making what you make, just homeless in the USA. Shut up.
Like right now, after fees, my Patreon take home is about $3,500.
Nice. And that's just Patreon.
My rent, utilities, groceries, and non-employer health insurance come out to $2,300, at least in the winter when the gas bill is high. You throw in student loan payments, monthly expenses like Adobe and Delete Me, meds, bus passes. We're already over 70%.
Student loan.
Wait, what? 70% of 3,500? Or 70% of like the total that you earn, because you're super unclear about the income that you actually make here.
Up.
Like right now, after fees, my Patreon take home is about $3,500.
Okay, so it makes about $3,500. Okay, let's say 3,500 flat.
Nice. And that's just Patreon.
My rent,
True, that's not including ads, that's not including premium, that's not including merchandising.
utilities, groceries, and non-employer health insurance come out to $2,300, at least in
Okay, so 2,300. Get a calculator. So 2,300 divided by 3,500. So I expected that to be over 70%. That's 66%.
The winter when the gas bill
65.7%.
is high. You throw in student loan payments, monthly expenses like Adobe and Delete Me, meds,
Rent? Is rent one of your monthly expenses?
bus passes. We're already over 70%.
Student loan repayment ain't gigantic, but it is still there.
Depending on releases, AdSense and Nebula can bring in sometimes thousands of extra dollars.
Yes. As we saw before, AdSense was bringing in $4,500 until recently when it only brought in $3,500. I think that's a pretty significant reason for this video's existence in the first place. Is that fucking lowering by almost $1,000 in only a couple of months.
Which I will then owe taxes on.
Right. And what do you do with that money? I'm really curious. As a
Me too.
self-employed person, you got to understand your income's going to fluctuate up and down. Some people foolishly have a good month and start spending more. Are you one of those, Ian?
But some
No, this guy has like several good months. This guy, no, he's not like, okay, Harmful Opinions is insinuating that he's getting a lot of money from like a couple of months of good money, of like, oh, more money from Patreon, more money from YouTube, more money from Nebula, whatever. I actually think Ian Danskin is basing the amount of income he makes on his like original Kickstarter that he did for the channel, or the second begging video he did, and not like what he realistically makes. Because dude, if I was making $10,000 a month, you would not see me beg for a fucking penny. Although, to be fair, Ian Danskin only got this far by begging for money, so we'll see.
months they bring in a few hundred. Like December's Nebula payout was $14.65.
Sure, but if you get several thousand extra one month, that doesn't evaporate when you turn the page on your calendar. Remember, he's already admitted to having bad budgeting. Remember, he got given $100,000+ to dig him out of a terrible hole, and the first thing he did was announce his multi-week Japan vacation.
True,
Gee
he
golly
did do
gosh,
that.
how could Ian have gotten into debt? It must have been the system.
I talked to a financial planner about this situation a few years ago, and the best we could come up with was, on a very tight budget, I could maybe halve the rate at which I am going into debt to the government.
Bullshit.
Absolutely
Perhaps was
bullshit.
what you told them you were willing to do.
Is okay, look, also the government doesn't, like, it hardly accrues interest, okay? So, like, I think if you're over on a bank loan, it can accrue, like, like a credit, right? It can accrue, like, insane interest. And bank loans a bit less than that. But government barely accrues interest, okay? So if you can, like, barely half pay back how you're, like, so that just means that you're barely paying back your debt at all.
That's what they told you.
And that was when the Patreon
So that means that he told his accountant that he's earning like $100 a fucking month.
was several $100s a month higher. I do not see a path to being free and clear, much less building any savings or putting away for retirement. And y'all, I'm in my 40s.
Oh,
I
good for
can't play
you.
the starving artist much longer.
We can see you, bro. Don't be saying starving artist when what you
I love this fucking joke. I love the joke when people see somebody who's fat and then they call themselves like a starving artist, and you can be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because realistically, like, Ian Danskin is eating probably a bit too well. He's not like budgeting. He's not buying fucking bags of rice and beans. And he's not buying like corn in frozen bags. He's buying like the fucking cans that are double or triple the price per ounce. And I don't know. He's also not buying like the cheap bread. You can see like even from the bag that he's using that he's buying fucking like, I don't know if they have Publix in Massachusetts. I don't know, fucking Piggly Wiggly or something. Where he's buying like almost the like artisanal bread instead of like the normal bread. And it's like, dude, come on. You're not saving money. You're buying fucking Oreos and not even instant coffee, because instant coffee is cheaper than normal coffee now. He's I don't know. You can tell that he is not budgeting.
You're playing as pregnant gamer.
My family and I are moving in a few
True.
months, and fortunately, the city we're moving to has a lower
He has like the back arch of somebody who's pregnant.
cost of living.
Damn nice. Did you know you can just choose to do that anytime? Ian Danskin isn't playing a gacha game that tells him whether he can move or not and whether or not it's going to be more expensive. You can just do it, as he's doing now, in fact, but made it sound like he couldn't before. Some
True.
people have to, sometimes to avoid the situation you've put yourself into.
I'm having
I'm gonna
toast
skip a
on
little bit of
artisanal.
yapping.
Don't blame
Like,
him.
I'm not here to
Dude, no. Toasted bread is fine. Toasted artisanal bread is fucking delicious, okay? That's fine. But if you're going into debt for it, that's another thing. And not like, oh, I'm in my credit card, I'm buying bread, aw shucks. It's like, oh, I'm buying bread, but I'm also buying fucking Dragon Quest 11. And I'm buying Half-Life Alyx and a VR machine and fucking everything else with it. There's a lot of like context around this. And I don't know. Ian Danskin seems like a guy who's like buying a bunch of bullshit. And artisanal bread is just like an example, but if you're buying like white bread or whatever, it doesn't fucking matter.
put a dent in my debt.
There's a
I have
limit,
to get
or
this
there's a
zeroed
threshold.
out.
Including those student loans that you accrued getting a degree that you don't think and probably won't ever help you get a job. Sounds a bit more your fault if you include that though, right? In your public video?
And I've got to get my income to a level where
You're
I
good.
don't just start building it back up again, because if that's what we're looking at, it's not worth it.
Plan.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it to build up your YouTube channel to pay back your money despite earning like more than most people ever will.
Wipe debt, get more money in. No mention of decreasing expenditure.
Like, at that point, I will get a day job and make videos.
Maybe Harmful is right. Maybe instead of like just relying on the money that he gets from individual Kickstarters, maybe Ian Danskin actually is like every single time he earns more money, he's spending more. Here's the thing. It's not spending his money that's necessarily the problem because he's a YouTuber, right? His income is almost entirely time-based. It's about the amount of time that he spends on each of his projects. So if he's spending money on food or whatever bullshit, that's not the worst thing in the world. The problem is that he's, one, complaining about it and begging for money, and then two, not using his time to earn money from not emotionally manipulative reasons. That wasn't proper grammar, but I think you get my point.
Where I can. I don't want that, but I want to be broke all the time, even less.
We've seen your CV. You're not gonna make more money with a day job. This is some weird pretend stuff.
I know
We
that's-
have seen his CV. His CV is awful. He posted it publicly. What the fuck?
sounds kind of dire, and I promise I'm not just saying this to mobilize you.
Does it sound dire? Maybe to your viewership, I'm sure they're all on r/anti-work. It sucks compared to being able to dick around on the internet for money, but most of the people watching you probably live that life. Have some fucking self-awareness, please.
The fact is, the reason the debt got so high is that for these past 7 years, it has been worth it. And if I can't
What?
raise enough to pay this off, and if I file for bankruptcy and I can't be a full-time YouTuber anymore, I'm not going to say I have no regrets, but I'm also not going to say it wasn't worth it.
What does that mean?
I will be glad I got away with it for as long as I did.
Got away with it. That's a fucking phrase to use. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he is getting away with it. Oh my god, everything goes back to Sam Fine and iDubbbz, doesn't it? Yeah, he is getting away with it. He's fucking begging for money in such large quantities, such large swaths, from such large swaths of his fucking audience, and making it. He made, like, fucking so much goddamn money.
That clip is gonna be so juicy sweet when he inevitably craters himself again.
So,
Absolutely.
once again, I am starting off the year saying this might be the end. So let's have a good time.
Again, man, we can see you. You're not eating some moldy onions on bread 3 times a day. This video
Totally.
is an absolute embarrassment. And the only silver lining is that the people who got suckered by all of this and gave this man a big pile of cash probably deserve to get fucked.
No, I don't think so. That's a harmful opinion. No, I think a lot of the people who got suckered in by this were people who were watching it and who were like overly political in like middle school or high school, and they're in like college, and then they're donating $5 to $10, from their fucking ramen fund, from the fund that they would normally use to like buy whole milk instead of skim milk or something like that. That's not exactly the same because those are like the same price, but like, instead of buying like a sandwich, they now have to buy ramen, or instead of buying like a frozen meal, they have to buy a bunch of cans of shit instead. But yeah, I still think that's really bad. I don't think it's deserved to a degree. Look, to a degree it is. Okay. I just think it's lesser than Harmful Opinions probably thinks that it is. It's the difference between buying like Wonder Bread versus like Publix bakery bread, I guess. Or Piggly Wiggly Bakery. I don't even know if they have fucking bread. And yeah, I don't know. I find this like almost evil of Ian Danskin, where he's found a cycle. He has found a cycle. He's found a cycle where every 3.5 years he will beg for money from his audience and somehow make like 3 or 4 times, well, realistically, almost like what, 5 times the normal person earns, and then piss it away on playing fucking Yakuza and Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy and whatever else, versus making videos that people actually want to see. And it's like, we live in a time where what these people perceive to be the alt-right is at an all-time like high. It's at its power zenith. And instead of making videos about it, they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna play a couple fucking matches of League of Legends and War Thunder, actually. I don't really feel like making a video for like this year. Can you imagine that? I don't know. I can't. I mean, I can imagine them doing it, but not when they have like thousands of dollars on the line. Because like, Ian Danskin is begging for money, right? And he's making like $12,000 a month, let's say. That's just what I figure it to be. I have no idea what he's actually making. But instead of making that, if he made videos on Trump or like modern alt-right stuff or whatever, he could instead be making $16,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, and he wouldn't have to beg for a cent. But maybe that's like one of the few respectable things, or few disrespectable things, is that like the left doesn't see that much shame in begging for money, but I definitely do. I don't think begging for money is a good thing unless you either have like an unforeseen medical issue, even if you have money, if you don't have a lot and you have an unforeseen medical issue, I think that's still like, that's fine if you ask for donations. That's fine if you need help. Yeah, that's it. That's actually it. That's the only thing I can think of. You have like a death in the family, maybe, and you need somebody to help cover some money for like being gone while you take like unpaid time off, but you can't make rent. I think that's fine too. But yeah, I think Ian Danskin is a manipulative liar. I think he actually, he's kind of smart because he has pulled this off 4 fucking times. 4 times. And people haven't caught on. And he's somehow wiggled his way around it. That is much more than I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers could do. Now, is he smart for an average person? I don't know. But compared to most YouTubers, probably. Um, yeah. So I think that's gonna be it. Actually, I think I'm done. Dean Danskin doesn't have anything else, and I don't got anything else either. Because you know what? You know what? With Boogie, Boogie at least manipulated people's emotions. Boogie was like, I have cancer. It's killing me. I need treatment. Donate to me. Ian Danskin was literally like, I don't want a job. I might have to get one. And I don't know if I care about YouTube. He gave literally like 3 like extremely unempathetic reasons to give him money, and people gave him money. What the fuck? So yeah, that is gonna be it for me. I think I'm gonna go because I'm starting to. Can you even call it a hangover if you haven't slept yet? I don't know. I'm starting to get a headache. So, but it's about time for me to end anyway. So I'm gonna say good night. I hope everybody who watches, has a wonderful evening and a wonderful morning and a great day. And I will see you all probably Tuesday. Good night, everybody.